Hey everyone, this is Ken Susi here at Fishman. I am also, not only am I the Fluence product manager or brand manager, whatever you want to call it, I am also the guitar player in Unearth, the heavy metal band. But today I'm here to talk about Fluence. I'm here to talk about my own personal career in the band Unearth. Been going for about 20 years, as well as I'm here to play you some songs. So if you have any Fluence questions, if you have any Unearth questions, if you have any questions at all, feel free to hit me up. Right here, I am posting all of these questions right here, all these comments right here on the screen. Guys, Thomas McRaughlin's already here, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. Who's in the chat from Shred Club? So Thomas goes live on Fishman's channels every Monday and Friday. So don't miss out on Thomas's Shred Clubs. He's absolutely amazing player, far better than me. It is metal time again. Yes. How am I doing? I'm doing fantastic. I am going to start off today. I'm playing a song off the Oncoming Storm from Unearth on my signature series ESP guitar. This is the KSM or KS, what is it called? KSM7. Yeah, I was totally right. 7-string metal guitar equipped with Evertune, Fishman Fluence. These are nickel pickups. This is in voice 1. If you pull up, voice 2, and this is my -6 dB gain reducer. I apologize already. My second camera is out today, so I'm going to stick with this one view. So guys, this is the Great Dividers from the Oncoming Storm. Guys, that was the Great Dividers from the Oncoming Storm to start us off today. I am here. My name's Ken Susi, guitar player of Unearth and also Fishman Fluence Brand Manager. So, oh yeah, people are liking the breakdowns. People liking the heavy stuff. One of the best metalcore songs of all time. I really appreciate it. I agree. Freedom. All right, let's see. Let's see if we have any questions here, guys. Ask me anything you want. What specific Fishmans do I have, and why did I pick those? Good question. I have always played active sounding pickups. These are the Fluence Modern 7 strings. But I will say, well, for heavy metal, I think these are the perfect pickups. If you like active sounds, I would highly advise going to this pickup right here in particular, just because it's super aggressive. It's very, it has a lot of attack, very smooth decay. It's everything you'd want in an active sounding pickup. But if I was like, say, Dimebag Darrell, and I wanted to play something that was more so of a bladed passive pickup, I would just lift up right here, this voice knob, and it goes right to voice 2. Voice 2 is like an aggressive passive pickup. And I use this all the time. To be honest with you, the record that you just heard was recorded with a passive pickup. So a lot of times when I play old Oncoming Storm songs, I actually pull this up and play it in passive mode just because it's so gnarly. But these are the Fluence Modern nickel 7-string pickups. I also have I have a Les Paul that I use sometimes in the studio just for other projects. And that has classic pickups. I absolutely love Voice 2 in the classics. But Voice 1 is like a PAF. Voice 2 is a hot-rodded passive pickup. So what else do we got here? Do you always play 7 strings with Unearth? Yes, I do. But if you check out my signature guitar on ESP, they actually, due to popular demand, and actually I wrote a lot of the last record on a 6-string guitar. They ended up putting out a 6-string guitar for me that looks exactly like this one in 6. So I would highly recommend that you check that out. And yeah, sometimes I play 6, sometimes I play 7. I mostly play 7 strings on Unearth. What amps do I use live? I rotate amps all the time. One of the amps I absolutely love is the Synergy preamps, with the SLO to be specific, with Fryette, the Fryette 292. I wish I could carry around the 2150 power amp. Thing's an absolute monster. But the other amp I'm really interested in right now is this Rev. It's the Generator 120. What is it? No, it's the Generator 100P. And this amp I'm using today, I'm not even using a live cab. It actually goes right in the back. You plug it in, XLR or 1/4 inch, and you can get a direct IR out with 2-notes technology. So I absolutely love this. You don't have to mic your cabs. You just literally stick an XLR cable into the back. That's what I'm doing right now, and it sounds absolutely amazing. Yes, breakdowns. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Once you go Fluence, you cannot go back. There's actually a good story to that. When I met Larry Fishman, I was using another pickup company's pickups, and if I ever needed any other pickups, I would, call that other company. But to be honest with you, the day I met Larry Fishman, I brought in all my nice, expensive guitars, and the Modern Series humbuckers and the Classic Series humbuckers. Those two, I put them up against, like, say, the Classics against one of my Les Pauls and the Moderns against one of my $8,000 Ibanez guitars. And Fluence inside of a cheap, a cheap guitar, maybe when I say cheap, I mean, anywhere between $700 and $1,200, was smoking my guitars. So ever since I switched, I threw away all my pickups, put Fluence in, and it's not because I work at Fishman. That was actually the thing that really made me want to help Larry Fishman with Fluence, because, work with him with Fluence, just because I thought the technology was the greatest thing, greatest invention ever since the Floyd Rose. So that was pretty amazing. It was an amazing moment for me, and I'm happy to be a part of the Fishman team now, as well as playing in Unearth. they allow me to tour, and they're really cool about me touring with Unearth and also picking up my duties at Fishman while I'm on the road. Hey, Ken, looking forward to the upcoming Fluence P90s. Is there a target release date? Will they be available in HB size 2? If you're saying HB like humbucker, I'm thinking that you're talking about the tabbed versions. We will not be releasing tabbed first, but what you're going to see is the classic P90 look with the soap bar. Those pickups should be released very, very soon. I'm not going to give you an exact date, but I mean, these pickups should be released ASAP. The P90s are absolutely amazing. Obviously, you've probably seen Greg Koch use them on his live streams. He makes them sound absolutely amazing, and he's such a great guy and such a great player. They're currently in his Reverend guitars, but we as Fishman will be releasing the Greg Koch Signature Series P90 pickups, Gristle tones. They're awesome. Yeah. So just hold off just another couple weeks. I believe you'll be in business. Baffles me how I once thought EMG sounded good. EMG does make a great pickup. Obviously, I played EMGs for many years, but obviously, once I tried a Fluence pickup, it was game over for me. How many guitar pedals effects do you use in your set and on the last record? So that's a pretty good question. I have a very minimal rig, and just so you know, I've always used a noise suppressor in front of my amp. It basically goes guitar, max on OD 808, and then I do a suppressor into the front of the amp. Those are all the pedals I use. If I am rolling live, I've been using the Eventide H9 as a pedal. That's like kind of my go-to pedal. Sorry guys, while I'm talking, I'm gonna change some of the settings here. Sorry guys, but anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get these comments to stay up longer. But anyway, I use the Eventide H9, or I'll just use a delay and an EQ or some type of volume boost in the effects loop. I keep it really basic. Mainly what the H9 does is it gives me a little bit of output. It gives me a little bit of chorus, very slow chorus for my lead tones. But other than that, it's just an OD 808 max on with this noise suppressor. Agreed. Change my pickups in my PRS and my signature Dave Mustaine. Amazing. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're here and you're using Fluence. Sorry, I probably asked a bad question. No. Your question is good. Let's see. Let me see what your first question was. Is an XTSA a good move? What is an XTSA? Are you saying module for Synergy, the Ecstasy, Bogner? If so, I'm getting one myself too, and I heard they're really good. So let's check this out. We'll check it out like once I get it. Humbuckers in a single coil size at some point. That is something I'm very interested in, and I would like to release at some point. To answer that question, yes, at some point, certainly. Not right now. Let's see. Let's get right here. Hi, Ken. First of all, I love everything that you do and hope to hear from Unearth too. Secondly, I want to ask you if a Fishman modern open coil ceramic with slugs is a possibility. Well, that's kind of an interesting question, just because the nature of the let me see real quick. Sorry, I'm still trying to change these these settings. There it is. Hold on a second. Preferences, guys. Sorry. Let me do this real quick, and I'll answer your question. Sorry. I am dying to get this. Here we go. No, I'm just trying to get your questions to stay up a little bit longer. I apologize. Interview questions, screen sharing. All right, we'll just have to deal. Not a big deal. Let's do this again. Okay, so with that being said, let me pull something else up. Now I have a little bit more control here. Alrighty. All right, so with that being said, a modern is built with, especially Fluence moderns, they're built with a specific type of magnet. In this particular pickup, it's a ceramic, there's a ceramic magnet in here, and there's blades. And then there's an alnico magnet in the neck pickup, and there's also blades. Some people swap. Some people put the alnico in the bridge and have two alnicos, or some people have two ceramics. It just depends on your tonal preference. But I will say that if you're looking for a modern sound with pole pieces, that's something very different. And that's something that kind of defeats the purpose of this sound of this particular pickup. But if you are looking for that particular pickup and that sound, a cool way to get there is, let me show you actually. Let's do this real quick, guys. I'm on the website, and let me see if I can put your question up again. Sorry, we'll get your question up there so it's relevant. So on the website, if you're looking for that sound, I would go either Devin Townsend, Voice 1, because as you can see right here, you've got pole pieces on the outside, and this has actually a hybrid magnet configuration, and on the inside is a blade. So you could, and his Voice 1 is very, very similar to our current modern. So you can get there that way. And the second way to get there is, whoopsie, let's go to electric pickups, the Will Adler set. This would probably be closer to a modern in voice. His Voice 2 has the same hybrid magnet configuration. The difference between Devin's is his is degaussed, and he has a separate other Voice 2 and 3. And Willie has Voice 1 is a passive sound that he's used for years, but his second voice is very similar to modern because he really liked the modern pickups. But again, it's a hybrid magnet configuration, and you got basically a blade in the inner coil and poles on the outer. So if you're looking for that pickup, you're already kind of there with those models. So feel free to try those out and let me know what you think. I think they're both quality. Thanks. Yes, I meant P90 humbucker size. Otherwise, I need to get a new guitar routed for P90s. Oh, yeah. Okay. No. So P90s actually have a specific construction, and they're not regular standard humbucker size like a classic, Fishman Classic or a modern. Yeah, you should definitely get either your guitar routed or get a guitar that fits P90s for sure. Anyone not using Fishman doesn't like good tone. I can totally agree with that. There's other ways of getting good tone. Tone is definitely subjective, but I say Fishman will get you there. Fluff signature pickups. We are actually going to release something, hopefully by the end of the year, with Ryan. There's been some talk. I know he's been talking about it. There'll be a custom series pickup. There's really, there's very subtle differences between custom series and signature. Signature series is a ground up kind of build and sound with the artist. Ryan Bruce actually likes a lot of the tones that we already have in our pickups. So he wants to do a custom series where he may combine a couple sounds that we already have and modify them slightly. So yes, Ryan Bruce, he's the man. Why don't you show more of Voice 3 on the classic humbuckers? Not many videos. There is a video where we cover Voice 3, but I agree with you. There's never enough content. You can always make more. I'm down to do that. I'm also going to show everyone a really cool trick with the modern humbuckers. When you buy a set of Fluence, I know this is kind of off topic, but you buy a set of Fluence, there's a -6 dB gain reduction on here, and I have it set to a switch. But the cool thing is sometimes when you're when you have, say, a ceramic and an alnico, you have to kind of bury your Alnico pickup into the guitar a little bit more, because obviously the bridge is going to be close to the strings, and then you want, when you switch from neck to bridge, you want these to be kind of even. So you can't lift this too high. But if you use the tiny little jumpers and slide it onto the the -6 dB gain reduction on this pickup, you can actually reduce voice 1's output by 6 dB and raise your raise your pickup closer to the strings, which is kind of a cool thing, because it's you can't really do that with other pickups, and you can kind of control the output and the height of your pickups. So I'm gonna do a video about that. I know it's kind of like, you know, total nerd zone, but we'll get there. Does Buzz use Fishman's too? Yes, I have one of Buzz's guitars hanging on my wall right now, and those have Buzz uses, in his signature guitar, Stephen Carpenter's Signature Series pickups. So he absolutely loves those. Do I also have a video on the installation of the battery packs? Not enough anyway. I do. If you head over to the site, it's not necessarily installation, it's more of a guide. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you head over to the Fishman site, and where are battery packs? I guess they're under accessories. Let's go find them in accessories. So, Fluence battery packs. Let's just say that you're going to use the universal rechargeable battery pack, right? I made a cool video that's right here, all about the universal battery packs. But it's very, very, very simple to install the Fluence battery packs. So head over to this tab right here, support, and then go right here. Say you're using a set of moderns. You got yourself a nice little wiring diagram, and it shows you exactly how to set up the wiring and install the wiring. So it's really, really, really easy to do, guys. So feel free to go check out our site. We have a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of information. Fishman... let's go back. Has Fishman experimented with non-traditional guitar tones with a high degree of filtering via the chip tech? It could be possible to get synth, sitar. Okay, so not with Fluence per se, but what you should look into, if you're looking to get MIDI sounds and sitar and all this other great stuff, I'm just going straight for it. Our MIDI guitar pickups, the Triple Play series, is unbelievable. If they would ever, if the website would pop up, let's refresh. Right now the website is the MIDI guitar pickups are currently down, but you need to check out Fishman's Triple Play pickups, MIDI guitar controller. It's absolutely amazing. I've done a number of videos online about them, and you can get any sound, and you can play your regular guitar with it. You can play your guitar with it. You can play it separately. You could just do, MIDI or a combination of MIDI. You can create. There's also so much information. Just go on the website once it's up, or check out our videos, the Fishman videos, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Hey Ken, I have an LTD MG 750 that I put Seymour's in before. Sounded good, but I switched those out a week and a half ago, and now it sounds worlds different. Noiseless, and the voice 1 and voice 2 are fun. Murphy, thank you so much. I totally agree. I've had some other brands pickups in some of my other guitars, and what I think you're experiencing is obviously the noiseless aspect of the pickup, but they're incredibly fast. Basically, I mean, you're getting total phase cancellation. You're getting a pristine pickup. You're getting the new 48-layer thinly sliced precision coil. That technology, switching from 1 and 2, you're getting 2 different sounds. It's absolutely unbelievable. But the one thing that I'm gonna say, I'm gonna keep your question up here. I mean, not question, but statement. When I first got Fishman, I had, prior to getting Fishman, I had like a lot of expensive guitars that I was in the studio using, and at the time I would give my guitar to the producer and I'd say, hey, what do you think of this? He'd say, oh, this is cool. It's got some top end, it's got some body, that's cool. And then I'd hand him another guitar that was similar with the same pickups in it. Okay, this guitar, the wood sounds like this. Okay, that's cool. Then I'd be handing him after 10 guitars, I would think that after the producer picked one guitar, I would say, oh, I guess the other 4 guitars or 8 guitars that I handed him are garbage. And it was unbelievable because I'm like, all these guitars are like $8,000 guitars or $5,000 guitars or $3,000 guitars. They're very expensive guitars. Why is one better than the other? And they're all the same woods and stuff with different pickups. Sure enough, once I found Fishman, it was unbelievable because the way that these pickups are wound, they're actually not wound with like the traditional copper wire and the old school way of making a pickup that's been done for 80 years. It's actually this new technology where it's like a thinly sliced, as I said, like precision coil where the winding is perfect every single time. So every single time I grab a guitar, once I started putting Fluence in all those other guitars, they started sounding absolutely amazing. And I actually finally, what I thought was the wood of the guitar started to become, no, it was the pickup that was the problem. And believe it or not, it was the inconsistency of the winding. So now when I pick up those guitars, Fluence is a good bass. I listen to the pickup. I know all the pickups are identical. And now I'm taste testing the woods of the guitar and the feel of the guitar. So that's the biggest advantage that I found with Fluence, especially when you own a lot of guitars. So Murphy, I really appreciate you writing in. It means a lot. Thank you for the in-depth answer. Anytime, Eduardo. Let's see. When choosing pickups, do you particularly choose based on the wood of your guitar? So do you have a good idea of what they already sound like? I think I kind of just answered that, but I'll actually go into some more depth with that. I already know that I like an ebony fretboard. Here, I'll keep this up here. I already know that I like an ebony fretboard in most cases, or rosewood. I already know I like mahogany body, maple top. There's certain things that I like when I play heavy metal or rock and roll, whatever it is. But what I will say is that there's been times where I've taken a $5,000 guitar and tossed it aside because it didn't sound as good as another guitar that was in the same room with the same pickups, which I thought the pickups were identical. If I had a pickup from said company, and they say it's, and I had the same pickup in another guitar, but they're the same woods, I would say this guitar is way better because this one doesn't sound as good. Both guitars are good. It's incredible to me that how inconsistent traditionally wound pickups are with the regular copper wire. It's literally like me asking you to tie your shoes twice the same exact way or tie it 100 times. Once the second that a company takes a pickup and they bring it down to their production floor, I mean, whatever the machine does that day is the way that the pickup's going to sound. So they're not always great, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. Most they're very, very, very inconsistent. But anyway, if I'm looking for brighter tones, going back to the guitar, if I'm looking for brighter tones, maybe I'll switch up the fretboard to maple. Maybe you'll just experimenting with other woods is not a bad thing. Some guys like to do it just because they feel artsy. They're like, oh, cool. I'm gonna move to ash instead of mahogany or whatever. I don't get too deep into that, but what I will tell you is that I have a guitar that's very, very cheap in the studio, and it's made out of basswood, and I have Fluence Classics in it, and sometimes it's a little bit darker sounding, but it sometimes rivals my $5,000 Les Paul. So both have classic humbuckers in there. So I don't know. It's up to you, man. Use your ears for sure. Hi, Ken. I have classics in my Les Paul Custom and love them. I have a 6-string Schecter with a Sustainiac in the neck. What would your put in the bridge? What would I put in the bridge? It depends on what you play. If you have classics in a Les Paul and you really like that passive sound, I would stick with the classics. And believe it or not, I mean, Voice 1 is a perfectly amazing. It's the perfect PAF sound. If you're looking for something more output, something more muscular, maybe Voice 2 would do it. I default a lot of my guitars in the down position to have Voice 2 instead of Voice 1 just because it's my preference. But, I mean, You can't go wrong with any of our pickups. It just really depends on what kind of style you play. Actually, Daniel, please comment, tell me what kind of music you play and what you normally go for in pickup tones. Then I can help you decide exactly what pickup to throw in the bridge. Because as far as I'm concerned, you can't go wrong with a classic or modern. Some guys really like the Javier Reyes. Some guys really like the Tosin Abasi, the Keith Merrow, the Stephen Carpenter, the Devin Townsend, the Will Adler, the Killswitch pickups. Like, we have so many great pickups. It just depends on what you play and how you play. Much love from Oregon. How you doing? You remember when you first heard The Grave of Opportunity? It was your jam. Glad you guys are still rocking. Thank you so much. Super good song off of the March. Maybe I should play another song, but I really feel like the questions are coming in. They're really good right now. So also more videos on the battery pack installation. Please, Cap. Sorry, stuck. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I mean, we could do one. They're really, really not hard. I mean, if you look at the install guide, it's literally a 2-wire swap out. You take out the 9-volt battery leads, you replace the black with the white, and the black goes to ground. Yeah, it's all the same concept. So you're really just you're just swapping out the white on the new wire with the black of the old wire, so it's not that bad. Am I still using Kemper's Live? Am I still using amps or a Kemper Live? I am not using Kemper at all. I've abandoned ship. I'm not into digital amps at all. The Rev sounds good. Old school 5150s, EVH, the Synergy stuff, all really good amps, and I love to use all of them. I literally love taking all of those amps around and playing them all the time. Let's see. No more Buzz with Seymours. Those moderns are killer. Thank you very much. Buzz never used Seymour Duncans, ever. Neither did I. I mean, in some cases, I think I had a couple JBs and some guitars. Cool pickups for sure. But no, Buzz never used Seymour Duncans. He always used EMGs. But once he heard Fluence, he jumped right over to the Modern Series humbuckers, of course. I purchased some Fishman Classics to put in my 2015 Gibson Les Paul Les Plus. I'm waiting on the pots to get here. How are these going to be different than the Fishmans in my Epiphone SG Prophecy? So if you're waiting for pots, I'm assuming that you ordered our long shaft pots to put in your Les Paul, which I totally understand. If you have a Les Paul, the basic 3/8 pots that come in our packaging, they won't do because it's a little bit longer. So I think you grab some of the long shaft pots, which is totally awesome. How are these going to be different than the Fishmans and the Epiphone SG Prophecy? Well, the SG, I think, is a lower profile. So I think the pot size will be the lower profile, won't require the long shaft ones. And I think the Epiphone SG Prophecy has an Epiphone specific voicing in there. So they'll be different. The Epiphone pickups sound really good. The classics sound great too. You'll find that the Epiphones are a little bit more modern sounding than the classics that you currently have. But I think you'll like them because I believe it still does have the PAF sound in there. I think the tone wood argument is going to become much more relevant now that Fishman has brought the pickup technology to the market. Yes, Scott, I totally agree with you. I always thought the wood and the sound of the wood of the guitar mattered, and it does, but I always thought it would how do I want to say this? I always thought that what I was hearing was the wood of the guitar sounding different when you had two of the same guitar with two of the same pickups. But to be totally honest with you, there's obviously good batches of wood, right, and bad batches of wood. If you use Fluence, you will hear them. You will actually get to hear the wood of the guitar. Any other wire wound pickup is going to be inconsistent from one another. They're completely different. Even if you built a pickup, pushed it down the production line, and built the second pickup, and then you grab those two pickups and put them in the guitar, even though they're built next to each other, they're going to sound different. So I guess what I'm saying is that with Fluence, you will actually get to taste test the wood of the guitar. when you actually play our pickups, and it's the best feeling in the world, because I know being a product manager, our final tests that are required in order for a pickup to leave the building, the magnet strengths and the PCBs and the coil and everything is tested all the way down to, they're tested individually, and then the pickup is built, and they're half built and they're tested, and then they are finally built, and then they go through another test. So they fall within a specific range, and you wouldn't even be able to hear the difference between two pickups with Fluence, as far as tonally, magnet wise, and all that stuff. So that's how dialed in we've got it. Let's see, metal and classic rock. Okay, you play metal and classic rock, Daniel. So I would say, personally, you can play metal with classics. I think for metal, you would want to use Voice 2. If you wanted classic rock, like if you were playing like Def Leppard or something like that, you could still use Voice 2. I still think it's an overwound, aggressive, iconic sound. If you were going way back to the 70s, in the 60s, and wanted to play something that's more so PAF-ish, then you would go Voice 1. But I think you can get away with using the classic humbuckers. I think it's perfect. Keith Merrow signature set versus modern set. They are completely different. I can't say like one versus the other, but if you want to know what the difference is, the modern set has, as I said before, they have blades, ceramic, Alnico. Keith Merrow's pickups actually have pole pieces. So you're getting a passive sound with the Keith Merrow set. So that's the first difference. Second difference is there's two completely different tones in the Keith Merrow set than modern. So modern is active and Voice 2 is passive. In the Keith Merrow set, Voice 1 is medium output passive sound. Very similar to what he's been using for a number of years. But Voice 2 is like, it's like a Eddie Van Halen Brown sound kind of pickup. And I would say that he also has a Voice 3 in there, which is a split coil tone, which sounds absolutely amazing, and it's completely untethered to Voice 1 and Voice 2. So, that's the difference between Keith Merrow and our modern set. I mean, none of our sets are identical. I'm thinking the Adam D and the Bridge. Adam D's great too. The Adam D and Joel Stretzel from Killswitch. I would say that you're going to get like a modern sound in Voice 1 and Voice 2. Is very, very, it's, if you like PRS, humbuckers, somewhere in that range, what they do, I think Killswitch was steering their, Voice 2 into that kind of realm. It's not very, PRS, it's in that direction, but it's not a PRS pickup by any means. But I would say, it's, they took the Dragon 2 and just went beyond, what they could have ever imagined. Hey, where's Thomas McRockland? Thomas McRockland has been on this feed. Guys, don't forget, we go live every single week with Thomas McRockland. Mondays and Friday. He does his Shred Club. Guy's absolutely talented. One of the best players. I grew up idolizing him, and I still idolize him to this day. Thomas McRockland. Absolutely amazing. Sorry, not a Fishman question, but always curious why you opted for no forearm contour on the SIG LTD. Cheers, dude. It's actually pretty funny that you asked that question. So, I always grew up playing like RGs, and RGs really don't have the slope here. I mean, they do just like a little bit, and they bend. But with the Evertune, one of the drawbacks of the Evertune is that it takes away a lot of wood on the guitar. As you can see, this is pretty much cut out. I wanted to retain as much wood as possible. And by not having the contour on the corner, I know it's not much wood, but it's just enough. And to be honest with you, when I play, my arm reaches over the guitar, so I'm not really worried about the contour back here, because my elbow or my arm kind of like lays on top of the guitar. So that's why I did what I did. I don't know. I just wanted to keep more wood on the guitar. Selfish reasons. Just watched a YouTube video from 2001, Poison the Well from Autumn to Ashes show, and you were on stage. I missed that era. Yeah, I absolutely love all the guys from Poison the Well and Fata. They're all really great guys, and a lot of good times that we had together on the road. My great-grandfather was a musician, and he played the fiddle. Do you have anyone in your family that was a musician who influenced you? I actually have a number of people in my family that influenced me to play instruments. Actually, my brother is a phenomenal guitar player. I learned just about everything that I know just by watching him. I think to this day he's still a far better guitar player than me. He shreds. He's actually played a couple solos on an Unearth record. Let me think. My sister plays concert piano. She also is a great singer. My father played in a surf rock band. He played the keyboards, very Doors style, keyboard stuff. So I also have other family members that also play music, but my family is very, very musical. And to be honest with you, I was more so into sports as a kid. I had a guitar when I was 9, but it didn't really excel until I was like 13. I was too busy playing sports and stuff, but music was something that I couldn't avoid. I just always heard it in my head, always inventing new things in my head to try to, sounds and stuff, and I always wanted to articulate that. And heavy metal was definitely, heavy metal and grunge was definitely the two things that definitely inspired me to want to play more guitar. And my brother. So anyway, thank you. Love my EVH 5150 with EL34 is using a Boss Super OD to boost. Not getting the boost I thought I would get. Any recommendations for boost? I also use a Sonic maximized rack unit. Let's keep going here. Could this be causing my problem? Sorry for all the questions. No, actually, your rig sounds pretty old school to me. A lot of guys used to use the Super Overdrive. I love that pedal when you use it with a Randall RH100. That's the crowbar tone if you use that pedal. Me personally, it's a little colored. I use either the Maxon OD808, which is the pedal that I primarily use, or the TES9, I think it's called. Those are really good overdrives. I love the Maxon stuff. I don't think the Sonic Maximizer is causing your output to change, because what the Sonic Maximizer is doing is basically creating a V in your tone. So you're hiking up the super highs and you're hiking up the lows, but there's no mids. You're kind of scooping the mids with the Maximizer. I'm not like, there's a lot of people that will talk trash on the Sonic Maximizer. I'm gonna say in the right application, Sonic Maximizer is pretty awesome. But not many people think about that, because it's kind of one of those things that's a joke. Like, look at this guy, he's using a Sonic Maximizer, he doesn't know what he's doing. But to be honest with you, if you use it with the right amp, you do know what you're doing. It's kind of awesome. So for overdrives, stick with Maxon. I think they're the best. Probably more sustained in drier climates. I'm sorry, I'm missing. Oh, you might be talking about the guitars. To be honest with you, good piece of wood. Like there's a video of Steve Vai like tapping on guitars and knocking on them and like saying, oh, this one's this one's a C, this one's an A. Like the tone of the guitar, he could tell by knocking on the guitar. I don't get that crazy about wood of guitars. I just know if there's a good hunk of wood that sounds good or if it doesn't sound good. I definitely have one guitar in my studio that I know that doesn't sound very good, and it's the guitar's fault because I have other guitars that are built like that. It just so happens this one guitar doesn't sound very great. Maxon OD808, yes. Do you plan on making your own signature pickups? No, because I'm in the product development team. I can say that they're all my babies. I don't need a special Ken Susi signature pickup. To be totally honest with you, I love the company. I love the Modern Series humbuckers. Maybe a custom series, just because I love the Modern so much. I've heard a lot about these. Yes, never took the dive though. Maybe it's time. I really do think you should try the Maxon out. I love that you don't use digital amps. It makes sense why your sound is so massive. Thank you so much. I used to use digital amps, and it was when we were playing like ginormous stages, it was kind of cool because the miking wasn't always great on those stages back in the early thousands, but and it was a good way to send a direct signal out and be consistent every night. but to be totally honest with you, now that I have the 2 notes technology, I throw that in front of any of my amps and my amps sound awesome. And on stage, you can't beat it. And it was funny because I used the digital amp and we played a small like VFW hall once, just as like a throwback show, and my tone with the Kemper sounded weak. It's just, I don't know, it didn't sound like a real amp. So once I moved back to real amps, got real heavy. Let's see. Thank you for answering all my questions. I've been procrastinating on installation. I do have the classics. Nicely done. Great product. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm super excited to see what Fishman is in 10 more years. Once more wood options are explored. Once more artists adopt Fishman. The tone options are unlimited with this tech. Great work, guys. I really appreciate it, Scott. That's amazing. I agree with you. I can't wait to see where we are in 10 years. I'll probably be 10 years older. But I will say flat out, yeah, there's a lot of great stuff coming on the horizon. And I'll say that there's some even cooler things coming in the near term that, it's going to be wild. So I really appreciate it. Guys, I have to leave. Believe it or not, I have a meeting to go to at 3:00 promptly. So I appreciate. Oh, hello, Lisa Marie. Guys, thank you so much for showing up. I'm gonna be doing this consistently every Wednesday, 2:00 p.m. Unless if there is a partnership series video, then I will most likely be attending that. But either way, thank you so much for showing up. I know I didn't play as much today, but the questions were super good. So I continued with the feed. Guys, I'll see you next week. We will do this again soon. Be safe.